Okay, so let's be real. There are a ton of self-improvement podcasts out there.
Oh, yeah, way too many.
Right. And who actually has the time to, listen to all of them?
Yeah.
That's why we're doing this deep dive. We're looking at this BetterUp article. Um, it's called The 14 Best Self-Improvement Podcasts You Should Listen to.
Nice.
And we're going to help you, the listener, find the best ones for you.
Yeah. More than just like a list, though, right?
Right. Like, we're going to give you, like, all the little details, the inside scoop. So you can be like, oh, that one's for me. Or, ooh, I need to avoid that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like your own personal podcast shoppers.
Exactly. Okay, so first up, have you heard of the Happiness Lab?
I have. It's with Dr. Laurie Santos.
Yeah, she's a Yale professor.
And she's actually really engaging.
I was going to say, sometimes those super smart academic types, they can be a little,
A little dry.
yeah.
But not her.
No, not at all. I mean, think about it. She teaches the most popular course at Yale, and it's been running for over 300 years. Wow. Yeah, that's saying something. Okay, so what's something that she talks about on the podcast that really stuck with you?
Oh, she actually had a really interesting take on gratitude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we always hear like, be more grateful, but she breaks it down like scientifically.
Ah, so there's actual science behind it.
Yeah, like how focusing on the good things can like actually change your brain chemistry.
Interesting. I like that. It's not just some fluffy advice.
No, not at all.
Okay, so let's switch gears a bit. What about Life Kit? Have you heard of this one? It's from NPR.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, a Swiss Army knife for life.
Oh, what do you mean?
They have different experts every week, like therapists, financial advisors. They even had someone on about organizing your digital life.
Whoa, 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 wait. Decluttering your digital life. That's a thing.
Apparently.
I think I need to listen to that episode like right now.
Right.
That's amazing. Okay, so let's go to something completely different. How about the Tim Ferriss show?
Oh, yeah, Tim Ferriss, Mr. 4-Hour Workweek.
That's him. He's all about productivity.
And his podcast is, well, it's great for that.
Oh, yeah?
But it's more than just like, do this to be productive. He interviews all these successful people.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And he like dissects their routines and habits.
That's so interesting. So you get to see like behind the scenes of how they actually operate.
Exactly. Like he's always asking about their morning routines.
Oh, that's a good one.
And a lot of them talk about meditation, like starting the day with some mindfulness practice.
Maybe you should try that instead of hitting snooze.
Right.
Okay, so moving right along, what about the minimalists?
This one's really popular.
Yeah, it seems like it's more than just like a trend, right?
Yeah, it's like a whole philosophy. It's about like living intentionally.
And it's hosted by these two guys, right? Joshua and Ryan.
Yeah, Joshua Fields Milburn and Ryan Nicodemus.
Yeah.
And they actually left their corporate jobs to, live this lifestyle.
I always admire that kind of commitment. But I mean, isn't minimalism just about getting rid of stuff?
Kind of. It's really about being mindful about like what you bring into your life.
Oh.
Like your possessions, commitments, even your thoughts. Just getting rid of distractions so you can focus on what's important.
So it's like decluttering your mind too.
Exactly.
Got it. All right, next up is the Rich Roll podcast.
Oh, this guy. He is
Intense.
yeah, that but inspiring too. He's an ultra endurance athlete.
Didn't he like complete an Ultraman?
He did. He was the first vegan to do it.
Wow. Remind me how far that is.
320 miles.
Oh my goodness. I can barely walk to the mailbox.
Right. But the thing is, it's not just about the athletic stuff. His podcast is about like pushing yourself in all areas of life.
Okay, I like the...
And he interviews people who have done that, like athletes, entrepreneurs, even spiritual leaders.
It's about that mindset.
Exactly. Like resilience, facing your fears, using your challenges to grow.
I think that's something we can all relate to.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's talk about Happier with Gretchen Rubin. Have you heard of this one?
Oh, yeah. She's like a happiness expert.
She's written a bunch of books too, right?
Yeah, bestsellers. And her podcast is really good. It's she co-hosts it with her sister.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it makes it really down to earth,
I like that. So what makes her approach to happiness different?
Well, she really focuses on habits.
Oh, interesting.
Like how even small changes to your daily routine can make a big difference in your happiness. She even has this 1-minute rule.
Oh, tell me about that.
Basically, if you can do something in less than a minute, just do it right then.
Oh, like making your bed?
Exactly. Or sending a thank you note or whatever.
Okay, I can get behind that. That's manageable. All right, so for a more realistic look at entrepreneurship, there's, Honey, I Blew Up the Business.
Ooh, this one's good.
Yeah. What do you like about it?
It's hosted by this guy, Dan Kirby, and he's been there.
Been where?
He's had successes and failures. He's almost gone bankrupt. And he talks about it all
I
openly.
feel like a lot of business podcasts are just like, look how successful I am.
Right. But it's honest. It's about the struggles, too.
Yeah, that's refreshing. It's a good reminder that, like, failure is a part of it.
Yeah, and you can learn from it.
Okay, next up. On Purpose with Jay Shetty. He's a former monk turned, like, social media star.
I know, right? Talk about a change of pace.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But his podcast is actually really good. It's about, like, finding your purpose.
He's had some incredible guests.
Like who?
Oh, like Kobe Bryant, Alicia Keys, even the Dalai Lama.
Well, so he's not just, like, an influencer trying to sell you something.
No, not at all. He seems really genuine, like he really wants to help people.
I like that. What else is cool about this podcast?
Oh, it's organized by topic, like relationships, purpose, productivity.
So it's easy to find what you're looking for.
Yeah, super easy to navigate.
Perfect. Now, for the skeptics out there, we have How To.
It's from Slate magazine,
Oh, interesting.
and it's hosted by two journalists.
So it's like a more evidence-based approach.
Exactly. They interview experts, cite research. They really dig deep.
So if you're someone who's like, I need proof, this is the podcast for you.
Pretty much. They answer listener questions.
Oh, that's cool.
And they're not afraid to say, like, we don't know the answer, or there's no one-size-fits-all solution.
That's good. We need more of that kind of honesty.
Agreed.
All right, so for the workaholics out there, there's Work Life with Adam Grant.
Oh, yeah, Adam Grant. He's an organizational psychologist.
And a Wharton professor.
Yep. So he knows what he's talking about.
And his podcast is about improving, well, work life?
It is. He interviews CEOs, entrepreneurs, even artists and athletes.
Wow. What's something that you learned from his podcast that changed how you think about work?
He has this concept of originality and how truly original ideas, they usually come from people who are willing to, like, fail.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and to challenge the status quo. So it's not just about working harder, it's about working differently.
That's a good point.
Okay.
Okay, so for those of us who want to be smarter, there's Quick Brain.
Ooh, yes. Jim Quick.
He's a brain coach, right?
Yeah. And a memory expert. He actually had a really bad brain injury as a child.
Oh, wow.
And he struggled in school, but then he, like, taught himself all these techniques to improve his brain power.
What a story. So his podcast is about those techniques.
Yeah. It's about speed reading, memory improvement, learning new languages.
All the good stuff.
And the episodes are really short.
Perfect for my short attention span.
Right.
Okay, last one before we take a break. Help Me Be Me with Sarah Mae Bates.
Oh, I love her. She's a self-love and relationship coach.
And she calls it self-help for people who hate self-help, right?
Exactly. She's so relatable.
What makes her different from other self-help people?
She's really honest about her own struggles, like anxiety, self-doubt, and she's not about, pretending everything's perfect.
That's refreshing. Okay, so I'm going to grab a coffee, but we'll be back soon with more great podcasts.
Sounds good. I need a refill, too. Oh, we left off right before Speak Up with Laura Camacho.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that one.
Okay, so she's a communication expert.
Yep.
And her podcast is all about, like, helping people find their voice.
Ooh, I like that.
Right. And it's especially helpful, I think, for, like, professional settings.
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like everyone could, like, improve their communication skills.
Oh, for sure.
So what kind of stuff does she cover?
She talks about public speaking, negotiation, having difficult conversation.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah. Oh, one thing that really helped me was
Yeah.
her advice on active listening.
Oh.
It's so simple, but, like, we don't do it enough.
Yeah, I'm totally guilty of that. I'm, like, always thinking about what I'm going to say next.
Right. But she has some really good tips on, like, how to be a better listener, more engaged, more empathetic.
That's so important. I feel like we've been talking about a lot of podcasts that, really go deep. Like, it's not just surface level advice. It's like,
It's psychological. It's
Yeah.
about, like, understanding yourself.
creating good habits.
Exactly.
Okay, so speaking of habits, what about how to be a better human?
Oh, this one's fun.
The one with Chris Duffy.
Yeah, he's a comedian.
Oh, that's your
So
story.
the podcast is about self-improvement, but, like, it's funny.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes self-help can be a bit,
Heavy.
yeah.
Right. So this is like a nice change of pace. He brings on all these experts, from psychology, philosophy, even other comedians.
Oh, wow.
And they talk about everyday problems, but in a way that's, like, both insightful and hilarious.
We need more of that. More humor and self-improvement.
Totally.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of different podcasts. I mean, there's so many different approaches to self-improvement, which is cool.
Yeah, it
But it
is.
can also be a little overwhelming. Like, where do you even start?
Well, I think the best thing to do is, figure out what you want to work on,
Mhm.
like what areas of your life you want to improve,
Right.
and then, sample a few podcasts that focus on those topics.
So if you're, I don't know, if you're stressed out, maybe try the happiness lab.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or The Minimalists,
Right. Or if you want to be more productive.
The Tim Ferriss Show.
Yes. Or a quick brain.
Totally. And if you're feeling lost, maybe try On Purpose or the Rich Roll podcast.
Yeah, those are good ones. So basically, just be curious
Mm-hmm.
and don't be afraid to experiment.
Exactly.
You might be surprised by what you find.
Yeah, you might start with like a productivity podcast and then end up loving like mindfulness.
Right. The possibilities are endless.
They really are. There's so much out there.
All right, so before we wrap things up, I have one
Oh.
final question for you.
Yeah.
So, of all the advice, all the tips, all the wisdom that we've talked about today,
Mm.
what's like one thing that's really stuck with you, like that you've actually used in your own life?
Oh, that's tough. I think for me, it was from Help Me Be Me with Sarah Mae Bates.
Oh, yeah.
She talks a lot about self-compassion
Oh,
and like treating yourself with kindness, the same way you'd treat a friend.
oh, that's so important, especially these days, right? Like there's so much pressure to be,
Perfect.
yeah, to like always be hustling and achieving.
It's easy to forget to be nice to yourself.
Totally. So as we wrap up this deep dive into self-improvement podcast,
Yeah.
what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away?
I hope they realize that self-improvement doesn't have to be this like big, scary thing.
Right.
It can be as simple as, listening to a podcast, one that, makes you think differently.
Or that inspires you to make, even like a small change.
Exactly. And remember, it's a journey, not a destination.
That's such a good point. There's no finish line.
Nope. It's about growing, learning, embracing the ups and the downs.
Find joy in the process.
Yes. And don't be afraid to experiment.
Oh, yeah.
Try different podcasts, different approaches, see what works for you.
What resonates with you.
Yeah. What helps you become like the best version of yourself.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
And the best part is podcasts are free.
They are.
It's like you have access to all this knowledge and inspiration like right there in your pocket. So go forth, listeners, and explore the world of self-improvement podcasts.
You never know what you might find.
And if you're feeling overwhelmed, just remember what we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Pick a podcast that, focuses on something you want to improve.
Yeah.
And, try a few until you find the perfect one.
For perfect fit.
Exactly. And most importantly, have fun.
Yes.
Self-improvement shouldn't be a chore.
It should be enjoyable.
All right. That's it for this deep dive. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.